Now, in exchange, sure, I know your type. In exchange for that, you want to be entertained, right? That's very nice of you. That's very nice. I'm Johnny Carson, the Nebraskan stallion. Hey, Adrian. Oh, this is the monologue, or as it's known, First Blood 3. Yeah. Anyway, Sylvester Stallone is here with us tonight, as you probably know. Hey, take it easy, you know what I mean? Now, he's currently appearing in First Blood 2. Now, I heard about the next one. In First Blood 3, comes back with a submachine gun and becomes the world's most successful Amway salesman. Well, you sound in a good mood tonight. I welcome you to Los Angeles. Actually, we don't do the show officially from the city of Los Angeles, although we are in Los Angeles County. We are in Burbank, in the San Fernando Valley. How's it? We kid Burbank? We kid Burbank. It's a nice city, kind of, well, a little laid back. Well, you've heard of the Hard Rock Cafe? Out here we have the Soft Food Cafe in Burbank. It's a little quieter community. And if you're from out of town, you have to admit, if you've been looking around California, this is a strange place. You walk down Sunset Boulevard, where else would you find streetwalkers offering 8.8% financing? Oh, boy. Did you have a good week? What a buy I got this weekend. What a buy.
What?
I went to a swap meet. I will not have to cook for 3 months. I picked up 100 United Airlines dinners. By the way, how many of you happen to be stuck in Los Angeles because of the airline strike? So you had nothing to do to kill time, you came out here. No, a lot of people are kind of angry. You know, they made their vacation plans. United went on strike, and they're stuck wherever they are. And you're stuck here in Burbank. Okay, what else? How many of you watched Columbus on television? I'm interested.
Not many.
Was that on our network? Are you sure?
No.
No, it wasn't. I watched it. You see what happens when they get a historical thing like that? They change it sometimes just to attract the television audience. I watched Columbus last night. Surprised to see his first mate was Gilligan. I don't think that was true historically. And it was produced, I noticed, by the same company that produces Love Boat, which explains why Columbus spent most of the time dining with Cesar Romero and Charo. I know they weren't on the Nino or the Pinta, maybe the Santa Maria, but television is in an interesting kind of thing they're doing now. If you've watched shows like Dynasty or Dallas, all the network series are ending with what they call, in the old soap operas or the serials, cliffhangers. You know, to hang you, and that's to get you to watch the next season or the next episode. For example, the whole cast of Dynasty was shot. Bobby Ewing was hit by a car on Dallas, and it's affecting every show on television. I tuned in Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood today, and Mr. McFeely lobbed a grenade into Mr. Rogers' sweater closet.
Oh, yeah.
Now we know what kind of a crowd you are. This is cruel. They want that kind of stuff. Now, tune in at the end of Dynasty and the wedding scene where everybody got shot. I saw Alexis lying on the floor and her 12 guys in tuxedos. I thought it was just another one of her dates. Oh, sure. How many of you watched the heavyweight championship fight last night? Yeah. The problem was it was an hour-and-a-half broadcast before they got to the main title fight. I don't think they had to give the whole history of boxing back to this. They started with Spartacus. Thank you. Once in a while, the guys in the band just pick out one they like that nobody else likes. They sit there, and nobody else is laughing. They're going, hey, man, good joke. Where this thing started the other day, the United States began broadcasting news to Cuba yesterday on what they call Radio Marti. And the purpose, apparently, is to tell Cubans what's going on in this country. And Castro got upset. But really upsetting, heard the voice saying, well, buenos dias. No. Sure. Figures. Okay. Now, tonight we have for you. Oh, by the way, you have money in, what we talked about, I don't want to. You have money in Wall Street, right?
Yep.
Went up to 1,300 points yesterday?
Yep.
First time it's ever broken 1,300. I do not have investments in Wall Street. I have a brilliant financial investor. You've heard me. Bombastic Bushkin. Put me into some big money makers last year. I have a seat on the Iranian Stock Exchange. I have a Continental dealership in Tokyo. Invested heavily in a string of Hulk Hogan acting schools. Okay, tonight. Okay, we got a good show. Along with Sylvester Stallone tonight, we have a very funny young comedian. A. Whitney Brown is with us. And a marvelous musician, pianist, Horacio Gutierrez, is here tonight. Thank you for coming, and we'll be... Thank you. Tuesday night.
Dangerfield would say, what a crowd. What a crowd. What a crowd.
I'll tell you, what a crowd tonight. Yeah, it's like a shark feeding frenzy tonight going on. Anyway, before my first guest comes out, I have a little business I have to do. I was supposed to do this afternoon.
Oh, you've been so busy lately.
What?
You've been so busy lately doing all kinds of meetings and things.
That's right. Busy. Yeah. And, well, you get this, too.
Sure.
If you happen to be I hate that word, celebrity, don't you? If you're well-known, you get requests from a lot of organizations to do what they call public service announcements.
And it's nice that you do these because a lot of people don't do them. A lot of big stars, when it comes to this, they say, P.S., not me, no, but you.
And they say it a lot clearer than that, too.
Sure they do. That's why they don't make them. But you come right in and do it. You don't get paid for this. You receive no money for this.
Was I having trouble setting this up or what? Anyway, you've seen them. They're from the USO. We all have done them.
Boy Scouts.
What?
Boy Scouts of America.
Yes, things like that. Those are called...
Campfire Girls.
That's right. Public servant. You must have really been banking it away from Star Search. You must have foreign distribution for everything. Anyway, here's how this works. The agency sent over the copy this afternoon, and I've got it on cue cards. I haven't even seen it yet, so this is what is known as a cold reading. So I'm just going to do these public service announcements. You'll get a chance to see how they're done. So, Kevin, you want to slate these? Bob, are you ready?
Ready.
Okay.
Okay, PSA number 1, take 1.
Hi, this is Johnny Carson with a word about forgotten minorities out there, shy Scotsmen. As you know, when men from Scotland wear their distinctive national garment, they have nothing on underneath. Now, this doesn't bother most of them at all, but for a timid few, it's a living hell. Especially if they make their living as tightrope walkers or skylight installers. These men need support and psychological counseling. Send your contribution today to Kilt Without Guilt, Glasgow, Scotland. Yes, friends? Thank you. And let them know that there's nothing bad under the plaid. Thank you. Yeah, thank you.
PSA number 2, take 1.
Hi, this is Johnny Carson. You know, if there's one thing I've learned in my lifetime, it's this. You're not likely to get lucky if one of your legs is chained to a perch and there's a sick St. Bernard puppy throwing up at the cage next to you. Yes, that's the dilemma faced each and every day by the lonely talking birds in America's pet stores. So if you've got a feathered friend, you can help. Stuff your bird in an envelope and mail it to Parrots Without Partners, Squawk, Wisconsin. Do it today, because Polly wants more than just a cracker.
PSA number 3, take 1.
Hello, this is Johnny Carson. You know, here in America, we've drilled our oil, mined our coal, and even harnessed our energy from the sun. But there's one vast natural resource we've completely overlooked: belly button lint. As a fuel, it's very efficient. Do you know that the button residue from one large man can keep a family of 4 warm all winter? And as a fabric, it's fantastic. This stylish dress shirt I'm wearing is woven from 100% natural tummy textiles. For ideas on how you can help your country eliminate our reliance on foreign sheep, call the United States Naval Academy. That's 1-800-555-LINT. Thank you.
PSA number 4, take 1.
Excuse me. Hi, I'm Johnny Carson. Asking, let's slate that one again.
Yeah.
You have to do these very
Take a
serious.
sip.
Yes, Kevin, slate that one again for me, will you, please?
PSA number 4, take 2.
Thank you. Hi, I'm Johnny Carson. Asking if you're aware of the #1 method of transmitting social disease in this country. No, that's not right. No, that's not right either. No, the #1 method of transmitting social disease is that little pencil attached to the string on the counter at the Department of Motor Vehicles. This pencil should be regularly replaced or at least sprayed occasionally with a disinfectant. Write to the director of your state's Department of Motor Vehicles. Urge him to stamp out DMVD.
PSA number 5, take 1.
Hi, this is Johnny Carson asking all you high school kids out there, you got a summer job lined up? Well, instead of mowing lawns and busing, let's start over again. See, that's luckily you can do these over.
PSA number 5, take 2.
Hi, Johnny Carson. Johnny Carson.
You want to read it over first?
No, I've got it. I think I've got it now.
Okay. PSA number 5, take 3.
Hi, this is Johnny Carson asking all you high school kids out there, do you have a summer job lined up? Well, instead of mowing lawns and bussing dishes for peanuts, how'd you like to pocket a fast 75 grand? How? Hey, it's easy. Just dye your sideburns gray and go to the United Airlines gate at your local airport. As long as you have a driver's license or even a learner's permit, they'll put you to work immediately as a pilot. Why spend your summer cruising Main Street when you could be cruising at 35,000 feet and scaring the hell out of 300 passengers to boot? Come on, kids, help United fly the scary skies. Thank you. Okay. Okay. Sylvester Stallone will be out in just a moment, and we've got A. Whitney Brown and Horacio Gutierrez later. Now, you can enjoy 2 new delicious Weight Watchers frozen meals, baked cheese ravioli and spaghetti with meat sauce. Mmm. Thank you, Doctor. Okay. My first guest does not exactly need a long introduction from me. He's a very accomplished actor and also a writer and now director. And he's currently starring, as you probably know, Rambo, First Blood, Part 2, which opens tomorrow. Would you welcome Sylvester Stallone?
I'd like to have a recording of
You'd like to have a record that and carry it with you wherever you go?
Thank you very much.
Just to feel secure every morning, get up and hit the applause button and...
Instead of an alarm clock.
Go back into your career 10, 12 years. Would you ever thought you'd walk on a television show and have that kind of reaction?
No, actually.
10 years, let's say take 10 years ago.
10 years ago?
Yeah.
I don't know. They usually don't scream like that when you sweep floors. No, I never dreamed that it would even get to this magnitude. I thought perhaps I could be playing bullies and people like that Jack Lemmon would be beating up in films and always one falling down. I never thought that it would ever transcend into a character where he would be somewhat likable.
Do you ever have any fantasy about it, saying, hey, maybe there might be something that break through? Well, Lords of Flatbush, actually, I guess was the first... and there was Susan Blakely. Was
Susan Blakely, Henry Winkler, Perry King.
Right.
And a fellow named Paul Mace. But it was interesting. The people that didn't do it, that originally scheduled to do it, was De Niro, Richard Gere, Michael Moriarty. So it was like, it was really a charmed production at the time.
That's right.
Right.
Yeah, it's funny when you think back. And if you put it in perspective, let me ask you one off-the-wall question. Are you happier now than you were, say, 10 years ago when you were struggling? It sounds like a dumb question. Most people would say, of course he is. He's got fame. He's got the money now. Therefore, you've got to be happier.
That's a good question. You know, as you know, what success is double-edged. I mean, because what comes with it is a great sense of responsibility, and you have to try to keep up a certain level of performance. Before, when you're unknown and you're struggling, every day is an unknown X factor. You don't know where you're going. What I would do is I'd open the Yellow Pages, and there, in New York, there would be about 1,500 agents, and every day I would mark off 10. And those 10, I would sit there and, you know, make up the most atrocious lies. Just back in from Europe. I have a clown act that I'm working on. Of course, I don't have any film on it, but it's...
You really did. Just took them right down the list.
And so it would be enough work for like 6 months, and then I would start all over with the 6 months because hopefully they had forgotten me, or I'd go in with a mustache or a beard. So every day was kind of an adventure. Today, there is no more like that.
Yeah.
It's like the responsibility of trying to get the film done, of trying to stay in shape, of trying to be on budget, of trying not to get beat up too much, like fighting giant Russians.
Giving up your lack of privacy and your personal relationships, and life is, you know, blasted all everything.
No,
those are the negative sides. But basically, I think it's funny. When I talk to most entertainers, some of the happiest times in their life is when they were back there struggling to get the recognition for some strange reason.
Well, let's face it, I think the climb up the mountain is the most exciting because you don't know what lies ahead. Once you get supposedly to the top of your profession, the only place to go is down.
Does that bother you every time you make a picture that somebody's going to come and say, well, Stallone's on his way out, or this didn't measure up to the other one? And
well, put it this way, John. There will be no Rhinestone 2.
Come on now,
Sorry.
Oh, come on.
No.
I thought you'd be cutting an album soon.
No, twist my arm. I'm sorry, that's it.
No MTV?
Yes, mucus television.
You should do an MTV.
No.
You'd probably go great. I'll bet you they're pretty clever the way they do it. They could stage it and it'd be a...
Oh, that? Yes.
Sure.
You know, I thought if they would have shot that with an X-ray camera, it might have worked. You know, something different from the inside out. But the way it was done, I said, no.
Okay. Now, let's talk. We're going back again, talking about your youth. You were bounced out of how many high schools?
14.
14 high schools. Obviously, you were either bored with it, or you were a lousy student, or you just didn't, your mind was somewhere else.
Daydreamer, and I think a lot of people suffer from that. You know, you go into school and you pretty much know what you want to do with your life. Say you have an overactive imagination and you're not really interested in building a bridge or learning SMSG geometry or learning to split an atom or whatever. So you tend not to be in sync with what's being taught. So you look out the window and you say, boy, if I could climb that tree and flap my arms and flatten my eyes. And meanwhile, you hear in the back of the head and say, ow. So it's just repetitive rejection because you are just not in sync with what's being taught. And I think schools, at least from what I've understood, are kind of accelerating their ways of teaching, become a little bit more pliable to understanding the needs of the
And not
students.
everybody goes at the same level.
Right, and they're going to get into specialization. I mean, in college, when I was going, it was like you had to have 2 years of a Bachelor of Science, where you had to study everything. Now, I think you can go right into specialization immediately. Like, if you want to be a turtle breeder, you're going to be a turtle breeder from the beginning, and that's it, no matter what. Nothing's going to stop you from raising those hard little things, boy. And that's it, you know.
That sounds kind of nice, after
It is, actually.
breeding turtles.
Yes.
No great hurry in the whole thing. What's the story about you running around pretending to be Superboy? Is that true? When you were in school?
Yeah.
With a cape?
It was
You have
so
it?
sick. I'm so sick.
That's what we're here for. We want to hear all the sick stuff.
Heck, you know. Well, Rona. This is
True
terrible. How
story?
could
True
you do
story?
this? Yeah, what it is my father's a beautician, so he had a lot of barbers' capes around, and I was scrawny. I had my body was. You ever seen like a man comprised of pipe cleaners? Well, that was exact. That's what I didn't have a shadow. You know, we're talking thin, all right? So I was fascinated with two characters: the Steve Reeves Hercules character and Superman. So I bought some Rit dye, and I dyed my T-shirt blue, and I dyed my underwear red, and I dyed my socks blue, and I took this barber cape, and I put the S on with a crayon. Of course, it was backwards. And I put it under my clothing. And I was going to school, except I was looking like a hunchback, you know, because the cape was all like this. And I had my friend Jimmy Cohen, and I pulled him into the men's room. I said, "You're not going to believe this. I know you think I'm Sylvester. I know you think I'm like Tweety Bird and Putty Tad, and you make fun of me and all that. But underneath all this is Superboy."
Man, you'd whip that off.
And he said, "You know, you're duh." So I opened up, I showed him a little S. Jimmy, my best friend, of course, runs out into the classroom going, "Ah, my friend is having a nervous breakdown. We got Superboy in the bathroom." So what happened is they took me up in front of the entire school at lunchtime, made me take my pants off, my clothes off, and everything. And I'm standing there, knocked me with this barber cape on. And they said, "Now, flap for us. Flap, and you better fly." And I never went back to school after that.
No wonder you went from school to school.
Yeah. Flying. Flying for school.
We're going to take a break. We're going to come back. We're going to cost more. We also got a clip from Rambo, Part 2. Stay where you are. First blood. First blood. We're back. Thank you, Doc. We're talking with Sly Stallone. Every picture you do, you did the Rocky pictures, you did Rambo Part 1, First Blood.
First Blood.
You really got to get yourself in some kind of shape. I mean, that's strenuous work, right?
It is. It's pretty strenuous. Well, I feel that the character dictates that you have to have a certain body style. I would like to just, you know, weigh 400 pounds and eating cashews in Tahiti. But unfortunately, the character dictates that he's kind of a fighting machine. He doesn't have a family, doesn't have a past, doesn't have a future. All he is geared towards is combat. So I think, and I've known men like that, so all they do is, everything is physical,
Right.
constantly working out, looking for ways to perfect themselves. So I have to kind of like live this lifestyle. It's not a healthy one. I mean, it looks all right, but it's really, after a while, it does wear you down. But for this character, who I felt so close to, because it's so important, because he represents a lot of people today that are alive and well, hopefully, and I wanted to do justice by them. What happens is there's a little bit of madness that seems to permeate my brain when I'm doing a character like this. It seems like
You start to believe that you can do this?
You believe sometimes that I want to do that stunt. And what they do is they fire that gasoline from a cannon, and you mark it off about 30 feet away, and as they fire it, you hopefully that it's the same amount every time. And as you run, if you keep a certain speed, you'll just clear this ball of fire. If you don't, we're having Rice Krispies.
Rice Krispies tonight.
You know? So, and this is a few of the stunts in the film that were really interesting to do, because it's all a matter of timing.
Right.
Stuntmen are extraordinary human beings. I mean, their whole life is a matter of millimeters
Gags,
and
as
seconds.
they call them,
Yeah,
right?
gags. They call them
Gags, as they
gags,
call
but
them.
very brave men.
Yeah. Yeah, thank you for coming. I know you can't stay the night. It opens tomorrow all around the country?
I'm sorry.
Folks, I'm staying.
You've got the maestro.
Bye. Thanks for coming. Thank you. Okay, we'll be back. We have A. Whitney Brown, a very funny young man, and Horacio Gutierrez, who plays piano so beautifully. Stay where you are. We'll be back. Okay. My next guest. You're going to enjoy this gentleman. He's a very talented young comedian, and he will be appearing at Cobb's Pub in San Francisco, May 29th to the 1st of June, and at the San Diego Improvisation, June 4th through the 9th. Would you welcome A. Whitney Brown?
Thank you. I'm A. Whitney Brown. And as you might have guessed, I've been thinking a lot about human existence lately. I guess because I saw my grandmother this week, probably for the last time. Oh, she's not sick or anything. She just bores the hell out of me. But that's why I'd like to talk this evening about that bane of human existence, fate. Fate and her sleazy sister, Karma. Because fate, my friends, is a funny thing. It's like a fabric that's woven with the threads of circumstance. Or maybe it isn't. Maybe it's a little more like a filthy rag that's spotted with the stains of coincidence. That's a nice metaphor. I love metaphors. They just come to me like... something comes to something or other. But back to fate. Because fate has been hounding me like a Mormon missionary with an Amway franchise. They caught up with me in Seattle this summer. Now, it's a lovely city, Seattle. Thank you. But oddly enough, it was raining the week I was there. But one day it was sunny, and I was having my lunch at an outdoor cafe. It was on top of an 8-story building, just above the high water mark. It was the middle of July, so I ordered a watermelon deluxe. Now in Seattle, that's a watermelon and a knife. I was about halfway through, and I noticed in the alley 8 stories below me a basketball hoop. Well, I was also wide open for the shot, so I took my stance with the melon. The busboy rushed over to try to guard me, of course, but I faked to the left and went over his head. Melon went smashing through a window on the other side of the alley, shattered it like a wine glass at an Ella Fitzgerald concert. Freaked me out, naturally. I figured, what if the police showed up with a helicopter? Any simple-minded detective could land a surveying crew in the alley and plot the trajectory of the melon through the window up to the roof. There was the evidence, seeds scattered around my table like pork chop bones at a Baptist picnic. But of course, the police never showed up. No, justice was left to the filthy rag of fate, my friends, and that night in the club, it sopped me up like a spilled drink. There I was, talking to the audience, and I noticed a lady sitting in front. I noticed her because she was listening to a Walkman. Now, normally that doesn't bother me, but she started singing along. And I've always felt they should have a warning on those boxes like they do on cigarettes. Caution, this will not make you sound any better to the outside world. And then she got up and started dancing to a tune only she could hear, and that's when someone in the crowd thought she was having a seizure, apparently, and jumped up to stick a bar rag between her teeth. Well, for some reason, she caused a scene, and so naturally, the bouncer beat the dickens out of her and threw her out. But watching the whole thing, I felt kind of bad, almost, in a way, sort of. Because I think people should have a good time when they come to a comedy show and not get bar rags stuffed in their mouth. Maybe it's a little out of line, but that's how I feel. Anyway, I went outside afterwards to see if she was still there. I figured maybe I could tell her a few jokes, because she had missed part of the show. Well, as fate, that filthy rag would have it, she was there. She was lying in a doorway down the street while she was trying to recover some kids had found her. You know how the kids are these days. They'd tied her shoelaces together. Then they taped a kick me sign on her back and shaved her head. She was lying in a pool of transmission fluid, in amongst some old fish heads and mouse droppings. Bald with her shoelaces tied together, people kicking her as they walked by. But I noticed she was crying. So I went over to her and I said, what's the matter? And just like a woman, she said, nothing. So I said to her, then why don't you cheer up, my dear? Look at the bright side of things. There's a lot of bald people in the world. You don't see them lying in piles of fish heads and mouse droppings? People kicking them? She said, oh, it's not that. I said, well, what is it then? And she said, well, my little Pekingese dog died today. And here, unfortunately, the story turns a little sad. I wish I could share with you some of the grief I felt at the very thought of one less Pekingese dog in the world. So I asked her how it happened. Because my neighbor has a Pekingese dog. I thought it'd be an awful shame if the same thing happened to it. She said it was a freak accident. He was getting a drink of water this afternoon, standing up on the toilet like he does. And all of a sudden, from out of nowhere, a watermelon came flying through my... Thank you very much.
We'll be right back. Stay where you are. Okay, you're in for a treat now, I think. Our next guest is a marvelously talented gentleman. He'll be performing at Royce Hall, UCLA on May 23rd, at the Ambassador Auditorium on May 26th. He's featured in the Mostly Mozart Festival, live from Lincoln Center, which will be on public TV on July the 10th. Would you welcome, please, Horacio Gutierrez. Marvelous. Bravo. Just marvelous playing.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for doing that for us tonight. Saf, you had a piano delivered here this afternoon that you selected personally. Yes. What did it, in addition to the sound, are the requirements for a piano? I mean, you have particular quirks about pianos? Or what?
They're like people.
Yeah?
They are. First of all, the sound is very important, but then
Right.
the action, the mechanics of the piano, whether the action is a stiff action or whether it's a light action, and that's really the main thing, I would say, the sound and the feel of it.
I never thought of it. You said the action. You mean the pressure you have to put on the keys themselves?
It varies from piano to piano. It's quite incredible. And many pianists, you see, they start to tinker with it. They start to sort of make it either lighter or stiffer, or they make the piano brighter or duller. So when you go there...
Can you tell if somebody has been fooling around?
Sometimes, there's certain people that you know if they've been there.
Oh, and you have to follow them and you know what they might have done.
You don't need a tuner, you need an exorcist.
That's interesting. I never thought of that. That is interesting. You were born in Cuba. You're an American citizen
Yes.
now. When did you first come to the States?
In 61.
61.
We arrived, my family and I.
And with no money, I understand. I mean, very, very.
No money at all. And we were very fortunate because in this country we received so much help and so many wonderful people really helped my family and myself. We've been really blessed.
Yeah.
We'll come back to right here you are.
I want to mention once again, you are going to be at Royce Hall on the 23rd. Royce Hall, UCLA, and the Ambassador Auditorium on May 26th. And it's a real pleasure to have you here. I hope you drop in again, Horacio.
Thank you. I'd love to. Thank you.
Anytime. Thank you. We'll see you tomorrow. Have a nice night.